Welcome to another moderately useful video, and here we are again with this 1988 Olympia Maximatic or Coffex. And after opening it up, it's pretty obvious that it has a few leaks, so we'll take care of those. Here I'm opening up the heat exchanger to address a small leak. The top cover is only held by 4 Allen screws, and they're not on too tight, which is a very pleasant surprise, because usually with old machines you have to use all sorts of things like blow torches, breaker bars, you destroy the screws, and it's usually pretty annoying. And on this machine I haven't really had a lot of bad surprises of that nature. And here you can see that the descale has worked pretty well. Copper is nice and bright. And as a surprise to no one, the gasket is completely shot. So I'm going to scrape it off and replace it. The interesting thing here is that they've produced those machines in a variety of configurations. I mean, technically they're all the same, but they use slightly different components. So you never really know what size gasket you're going to need. And the folks that offer an Espresso give you a kit that has all the gaskets you might need, except for one. But it's not this one. We'll touch on that later. So I scraped this a little bit for good measure, just to make sure there are no leftover gasket pieces or scale or anything. And running my finger on it, I noticed there's a small piece of metal that sticks out. Let's take a look. You see on the edge here? And so this could be an issue for the gasket, so I'm going to file it real quick. Here we're back and we have a new gasket in. That fits really nicely. The whole groove is really nice and clean. So we're good to go. And of course, every time you replace a gasket, you should use a little bit of grease, which I assure you I'm doing here. And we can put back the top of the heat exchanger. It should be watertight now. Nice and tight, but not too tight. On this machine, there's another really good design element that I really like, and it's the group head. It's fully removable with 4 screws, no need to remove anything else on the machine, and that allows you to replace this really funky gasket. So this is the issue. I got a kit from Espresso. They supposedly gave me all the gaskets, but it turns out one was missing. I reached out to them, I didn't hear back, so I had to purchase a separate gasket for this, and it was pretty difficult to find. Here, this is the kit. This is me trying the best or nearest gasket I could find. This one is really thin. So I used it for a little bit, but then I bought better gaskets. And this is why I really like this design with the group head fully removable, because when comes time to clean the group head, you can look at it, you can soak the whole thing. It's super easy. It's pretty clean. The descale did a good job here too, but there's still some coffee oils and a bunch of other unpleasant things. So I'm going to soak this group head and its components into the usual Coffex bath for a couple days, and then we'll get back to it. Here I was expecting to find a really hard gasket, very difficult to remove, as it's usually the case with older machines, but this one is also in surprisingly good shape. Still kind of soft, wasn't too hard to take out. So this machine has definitely been looked after. Here we're going to go a little bit faster. I am taking the steam valve apart. In order to do that, you have to disconnect it from the boiler and then go back to the front of the machine where you remove that tap. Then there's a couple of nuts and the tap should be free. So same story here, everything's going to soak in a variety of detergents to make sure there's no grime left behind. And here's the piston with a couple seals that I'm also going to replace. And I realized I forgot to show the group head how it looks after being cleaned. So here it is. Really nice, new gasket, cleaned up real good, no more coffee oils, nothing. Perfect. Now I'm taking off the front panel to access the boiler and take a good look, because there's a big gasket underneath and it needs to be replaced. Here I'm working on taking this cover off. It's on pretty tight and there's a lot of wires, and actually I will need to remove all the wires from the machine. Let's take some notes so we don't mess it up. And here we are, the front cover comes off. Finally. It's definitely a bit dirty inside, but no rust, which is nice. And I think that's it for now. I will see you all in part 3, where we fix the boiler. Thanks for watching.